April 10, 1912. The world's largest and most luxurious ship was ready to set sail. They called it the Ship of Dreams. They said it was unsinkable. But just 5 days later, the Titanic would become history's most tragic maritime disaster. But here's what will shock you. Scientists just announced the Titanic wreck will completely disappear by 2030. And in July 2024, one of the most iconic parts of the ship, the bow where Jack and Rose stood, has started to collapse. This is the true story and the race against time to preserve what's left. The RMS Titanic was a marvel of engineering. At 882 feet long, it was the largest moving object ever created by humans. It cost $7.5 million to build. That's over $200 million in today's money. The ship had everything: a swimming pool, a gymnasium, luxury restaurants, and even its own newspaper. First-class tickets cost up to $4,350, equivalent to over $100,000 today. But the Titanic had a fatal flaw. Despite having 16 watertight compartments, it only carried 20 lifeboats, enough for just 1,178 people. Half the passengers would have no chance of survival. On April 14th, the ship's radio operators received 6 ice warnings from other vessels. The waters ahead were filled with icebergs. But Captain Edward Smith was under pressure to arrive in New York on time. The Titanic continued at nearly full speed, 22 knots through the dark, icy waters. At 11:40 p.m., Lookout Frederick Fleet spotted a massive iceberg. He rang the warning bell and telephoned the bridge. "Iceberg, right ahead." First Officer William Murdoch ordered hard a starboard and reversed the engines, but it was too late. Just 37 seconds after the warning, the Titanic struck the iceberg. Passengers felt only a slight shudder. Some even played with ice chunks that fell onto the deck. But below the waterline, the iceberg had torn a 300-foot gash along the hull. Thomas Andrews, the ship's designer, delivered the horrifying news to Captain Smith. The Titanic would sink in less than 2 hours. The unsinkable ship was doomed. At 12:05 a.m., the order was given to load the lifeboats. But chaos erupted. Many passengers refused to believe the ship was sinking. The first lifeboat launched with only 28 people. It could hold 65. The ship's band, led by Wallace Hartley, played music to keep passengers calm. They continued playing even as the water rose around them. Not one musician survived. By 2 a.m., the Titanic's bow was completely underwater. The ship's lights flickered one final time, and at 2:20 a.m., with a deafening roar, the Titanic broke in half. The stern rose vertically into the air before disappearing beneath the waves. The ocean temperature was 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Most of the 1,500 people in the water died from hypothermia within minutes. The nearest ship, the Carpathia, was 58 miles away. It raced at maximum speed through the same dangerous ice field. The Carpathia arrived at 4 a.m., nearly 2 hours after the Titanic sank. They found only 710 survivors in lifeboats. 1,514 souls were lost, including Captain Smith, who went down with his ship. Over 1,000 bodies were never recovered, lost forever in the deep Atlantic. The Titanic disaster changed maritime safety forever. But the wreck remained undiscovered for 73 years until 1985. Since then, scientists have been racing against time because the Titanic is disappearing. In 2010, researchers discovered a new bacteria called Halomonas titanici. This bacteria literally eats iron and steel. Scientists estimate that by 2030, just 6 years from now, the entire wreck will be gone. The Titanic is dying for the second time. And in July 2024, a 15-foot section of the iconic bow railing, where Jack and Rose stood in that famous movie scene, collapsed to the ocean floor. But there was also an incredible discovery. After 38 years, researchers finally relocated the lost bronze statue of Diana from the first-class lounge, found intact after 112 years underwater. Scientists are now capturing millions of photos to create a digital 3D model before it's gone forever. Today, the Titanic rests as a gravesite and a powerful reminder. With only 6 years left, its legacy lives on through these final images and the stories of those who perished. The Titanic reminds us that nature is more powerful than any human creation. If you want to learn more, I highly recommend reading A Night to Remember by Walter Lord. The link is in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because history like this shouldn't be forgotten.